No Alternative Radio plays music from indie to pop to synth-pop and everything in between. Is this thing on? New music now. Mic check.
I wish someone would throw me a bone. I wish someone would show me how to get home. I had it too good from the start then. Someone's gonna have to remind me again. I got a pocket full of money and I gotta get home. It'll pay for a third of the cab ride along. And so I hailed the cab and then I hear the tone of a train arriving on a platform that's closed. I've been walking a lot. I've been walking through the snow. I lost feeling in my big left toe. I haven't been sleeping, haven't slept much at all. And the next time I slip, I fall into a deep dark hole. My God, where am I now? Deep breath through my teeth, through my throat to my chest. I got a pocket full of money and I gotta get home. It'll pay for a third of the cab ride along. And so I hail a cab and then I hear the tone of the train arriving on a platform that's closed. So I run to the platform but the train is leaving. As I catch my breath I can't help believing that I don't belong here. Cause the people they stare and I start to freak out and I head for the stairs. Now I'm waving my hands in the middle of the road and the cars won't stop, no they won't even slow. And I am slipping on the sidewalk, going for the hard talk. Freeze, it's -degrees and it's creeping right through me from my ankles up to my knees. Please, I gotta go now. It's moving right through me from my belly up to my brow. Wow, this is not what you want now. Soon enough, baby, my body's gonna shut down. Uptown, riding the train every 4 a.m. since I got off the plane. I wish someone would remind me. Everything I've done is behind me. I had it too good from the start. Something's gonna have to remind me again.
No alternative.
No alternative.
No alternative.
Welcome. No Alternative Radio. It's a Mic Check New Music Show. We just played some new music. Band out of Australia. OPEP is their name. It's a duo. It's an indie folk pop sound there. That one is called Bushwick off their brand new debut album, which is called Stadium Cake. We'll put on another song from the album right now, but then we will be chatting with Pepita of the group OPEP, or PEP, half of OPEP. Say that 5 times in a row really quick. But we're going to do Doctor, their single off of the album right now, and then we'll get to chatting with her in just a moment. It's an Alternative Radio Mic Check.
Did I push it too much? Well, not enough. When did I start losing touch? When did you start giving up? 'Cause I'm standing here. You're over there, and the space in between. You don't care to be seen with me. to you. You can't keep it even if you want to. You hand it to me or you hand it to them. Don't think you're ever gonna get it back again. I went to the doctor and the doctor said to fix the pain you're gonna have to change. I kind of tried but I don't succeed. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I went to my mother and my mother said it ain't true yet. Get it out of your head. And I kind of tried, but I don't succeed. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. I know what I want and it's not what I need. 9 months till the deadline. And 9 weeks to make up your mind. Once you decide, there's no room for doubt. Every minute of your life to figure it out.
Is this thing on? New music now. Mic check.
Mike B on No Alternative Radio.
All right, welcome back. It's No Alternative Radio. This is Mic Check. I am Mike B, not Brian, but Mike. But we have a guest today. We have the band OH PEP. And how you doing?
Good. It's Peppy here from OH PEP.
All right, right on. And we just got done playing a couple tracks from your debut album. We played the opening one, Bushwick, one of my favorite ones. And we played your single, Doctor Doctor. And so with that said, your album is called Stadium Cake. And you're currently on tour throughout Europe. And you'll be hitting the UK here next week, as a matter of fact. So everything going okay with the tour?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we've pretty much been on tour now since March, which is like, that's like a pretty solid effort, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're doing great. We've just got a couple of days off now, so that's kind of a nice little break. And, you know, wherever we're going, we're always like, feels like we have friends everywhere. So it's, you know, it doesn't feel tiring in any way. You're always just out there to hang out. And, yeah.
It's like traveling around and just doing some gigs on the side and then traveling some more. And
well, not gigs on the side, but...
no, you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
And so you guys are in Germany now for the weekend? You're doing a show there, or?
Yeah, well, we just played Berlin and Cologne. And we actually, before that, we came from West Virginia. We played Mountain Stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Well, so man, you're world travelers within a few days, basically. So I don't know how you guys keep it up. But
We actually did. We actually were in Canada. This is all within 1 week. This is probably the most hectic week that we've ever done. So do keep that in mind. But we did. We finished touring Canada with Barsha Bulat, and then we were in LA for a session the next day. And then the next day we were in New York, and then we drove from New York to West Virginia and played this Mountain Stage show, and then we drove back, and we basically went straight to the airport and caught a plane over here. So
that's amazing. Yeah. You travel more than the presidential candidates at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably do a lot better than them too, to be honest. But all right, so since you've been touring live, you had any cool things happen, or any or not so cool, like mishaps, and you're just like, oh crud. Any cool stories?
Well, I mean, I'll start with the good stuff first, and that's you know, when you're playing all these places you've never been to before. I think it's just the fact that there are people there and they know the album, and you know, the first time it happened was we played a Tiny Desk concert last year, and we played. I think the next day we played in Boston, and we were playing Doctor Doctor, and this woman was singing all the lyrics, and the album actually hadn't been released at that point. And I remember Liv was like totally fascinated. She went up to the lady afterwards, and she's like, "How do you know, like, the song Doctor Doctor?" She's like, "Well, I just heard it yesterday on NPR." And that's kind of happened a lot more since the album's come out. But just that is just the best feeling ever. Yeah. Really. And then I guess the possibly bad things is, I mean, really it's not that bad, but we have had some bouts of food poisoning over the past year.
Ooh, yeah. That's going to be good.
But, you know, that's okay. We always get to eat out, which is great as well. So, you know.
Yeah. If you're not on a special diet or anything, then that's super awesome then, because then you can just, you know, try so many different things and go out there.
Yeah, totally.
So back to your album, like you're saying, you just released. Well, it's been a few months now at least. The cover art for it, how'd you guys? It's kind of like it's one of those things you kind of stare at, and it's like you see different things every time you look at it. How did you guys come up with the concept on that, or is it just something fun to do?
Well, it's funny that you say, you know, when you look at it, you see more and more, because I think that's kind of what we were going for. And also, like, it reflects the music, I think, because our arrangements are fairly intense on the album. There's a lot of layers there, you know, and I hope that when you listen, you notice something else every time. But basically, the idea behind it is that we had released 3 EPs before we released the album, and each EP was one of those kind of pictures, because when you look at the album cover, it's actually all these like creatures and animals stuck together in this big square. That's probably why you see more every time.
Yeah, because I'm actually looking at it right now while you're telling me. So
Yeah.
I'll put in for the listeners, I'll put it up on our website so they can check it out too, but if they haven't seen it. But so with that, how did the name of the album, Stadium, I'm sure you get this asked all the time because it's kind of a unique title, Stadium Cake. Does it have to do with maybe because you want to play pop music in arenas and sort of like a play on words? I don't know. I'm just guessing here, really.
No, it actually, it initially came about because we were recording for the first time. This may have been like 5 or 6 years ago, and I remember Liv was doing her vocal takes, and it was kind of like a chant before every take, because like you just had to imagine that you're in a stadium, and Liv's mum had made this beautiful cake for us, and if she did the take right, then she got to eat cake. So it was kind of like, you know, our mantra for the recording. And then I think at that point we were like, oh wow, well, you know, when we make an album, that's like 2 words that like sound great together, and let's call the album that. And you know, it was only 6 years that we ended up making the album, and we stuck to our word. But I think over time it's become more, I guess it has a lot to do with the music now, and it has a different meaning. And, you know, just the contrast between the word stadium, cake. I mean, stadium is a huge thing, and cake is so personal and small. And I hope that that's what we're conveying with the music. And, you know, a song is always so personal to whoever's listening to it, and you know, wherever it comes from, whatever it's about. And then you have these big pop arrangements around it, and then also I hope that you can hear in the music that we take a lot of time in thinking about contrast, and those are like, you know, different feels for every song, and there's quite a lot of, like, I guess, weird rhythms that you might not expect, all within this pop music banner.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of... I'll get to that in a minute because I had a question about that. But Yeah, with your album, so that it begins with the song Bushwick, and then it ends with Afterwards, and I don't know, I feel it's sort of like just perfect opening, a perfect ending with the way it flowed all together. And was that planned, or was it just it just happened that way? Did you guys decide, hey, this is what we want to do first, and so on, or was that more of like a record label thing?
No, I mean, it had nothing to do with anyone else. We actually did all the album before we ever had any record labels or bookers or anything. So that was all purely our decision and totally planned. We talked about the track listing a lot, and even considered not having all of those songs there for a little bit. And because we'd spent so much time, after we'd recorded it, mixing it, I think we were mixing it for about a couple of months, just to and fro with Dan, the producer, and we're kind of thinking maybe we should just take one of the tracks out because it wasn't quite working, and we ended up recording some stuff really late on in that process and adding it to what we'd already put down in Canada, and that kind of like brought it all together again. But it was very much planned.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's definitely a generous album, meaning because a lot of times debut artists will kind of put out maybe like 10 tracks usually. It's kind of, but you guys pushed it up a little bit, and could have scrapped them or saved them for B-sides or EP later on. But it's nice. It's nice to have a full, full respective album. So you were mentioning Canada. So what was your guys' choice to? How did that come about? Why were you in Canada recording the album? Nova Scotia, in particular, right?
Of all places.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure we worked out that that's the furthest you can get from Melbourne, Australia. Like, it's really far away from where we come from. But it was actually by chance that we met Dan Ledwell, who produced it, and he's based in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
But we met him at Folk Alliance International, which was the first time we'd been overseas with the band, in February last year. And we met some people through that, and they'd suggested that we go and record with Dan. And it was actually, we had a week off after we'd done this festival, and everyone had already left. I was in Winnipeg, and the rhythm section were in San Francisco, and Liv was all on the phone to us. As soon as we got off the plane, saying like, actually, we had this offer of going to record with this guy Dan, and we weren't gonna waste the opportunity. We were like, hell yeah! So we all got on a plane and went over there, and we recorded 2 songs, which are actually on the album as well. It's The Race and Tea Milk and Honey.
Okay.
And yeah, it just went so well that we were already thinking about making an album at that stage, but that recording went so well that we were like, hey, this is the direction we want to go in, and let's do it all with Dan because it feels so right. And
right.
He really had, he was so easy to communicate with during that process of recording, and we had so many ideas about how we wanted it to sound, especially using a lot of new sounds, and making it, I guess, a lot heavier from what we had recorded previously.
Right.
And we would just say something to Dan like, oh, how about, we use some distortion here, or, drum samples, and he would be like, yeah, no problem. He would just make it happen in 30 seconds, and that's totally what we wanted. And he was just said yes to all the things, and it was only later we edited it all down, but it felt so right for what we were doing.
That's great. That you had such a great producer there to be able to just do what you wanted to do, really, and he's just there to really guide you. It sounds like. Yeah,
and we always go into recordings with I guess we try and arrange everything beforehand and then do the finishing touches when we're in the studio, and he was really good for that because he worked so hard, tirelessly, and we would just throw all these ideas at him, and he would be like, yeah, sure. And
sounds like the perfect husband.
Yeah. Well,
Yes. Like, okay. But all right, we're gonna take a break real quick. Do you have a track that you want us to put on? Like I said, we already played the Doctor and Bushwick to start off the show. I was thinking about maybe Seven Babies, but it's entirely
go for it. That's
Seven Babies.
Favorites, yeah, go for it.
All right, we'll do that. We'll be back with Oh PEP in just a minute, but we'll play Seven Babies from their new album Stadium Cake right now.
Taking me for dinner on a Saturday night. You chose to take yourself for a walk outside. I'm gonna lose myself. I'm gonna lose myself. Lose myself. I was thinking, are you thinking right now? Did you hear? I thought I said it out loud. Why do you bother me with things you cannot see? Learn how to let it go, but you always seem to know. I sold up to wash your dishes. I left home, I left my missus. Sally was good, Sally was kind, and here I am losing my mind. Instead of taking me for dinner on a Saturday night, you chose to take yourself for a walk outside. I'm gonna lose myself. I'm gonna lose myself. Lose myself.
Okay, we are back with Oh PEP. Still there?
Yes, I am.
All right. As we were talking earlier, we talked about your tour and your album, and so this album, it encompasses. I can think of almost every genre it's on the album, whether it's folk music, pop music, electronic, country, indie rock. You name it, it's on there. Blues. So, what were some of your main influences? Maybe not necessarily for your career, but specifically for that album. Did you guys have any main influences? Maybe you listened to a certain album or an artist, or even just seeing things on TV that really influenced yourself and Liv?
I mean, I think it's hard to say that any one artist influenced the recording or any one genre, because I think it's more of just a shared musical sensibility for Liv and I, and that is to, make music that we would want to listen to. And I think having experienced a lot of different kinds of music, because we both went to school for music, first for classical, and then I did jazz, and Liv also did a lot of country music. I think it was more that kind of shared idea of what we would want to listen to and what we like in music that was an influence to the album more than anything else.
Cool.
Yeah.
But nothing like set in stone particular, just sort of, that's just what you guys have kind of grew up on, and you guys mesh well with that.
Yeah. And I think that it was really important to us to not to let what our instruments are that we play, which are typically folk music instruments or associated with those kind of musics, be any indication of what kind of music we make.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
As a band. And, you know, maybe it is that, like, maybe I should have been born a guitar player or whatever, but it is the instruments that we know best, and I think they bring certain ideas out.
Yeah, I think a lot of, I mean, it's sort of like a cliche, you know, you're a certain genre of music, I guess, so like you're heavily folk, and, you know, you got some country and whatnot, and but, I know, so people always try to think, oh, you must listen to the Lumineers or something, and that must be your influence, but, you know, most cases that's never the situation. I mean, yeah, there's some musical influences, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So speaking of cliches, so just, you know, a lot of people may not have heard you guys yet, because you guys, by the way, play in London next week, 28 October at the Lexington. Nice little joint there. Among some other dates, they can go to your website, opep.com, and check out the other dates. But I personally think maybe some bands that we play here that you guys sound like it. I guess if you were to put Tegan and Sarah from Canada and First Aid Kit, I think they're from Sweden, I believe. Kind of a country. I don't know if you've heard of either of those. I'm sure you heard Tegan and Sarah.
I was actually there just 2 days ago.
Okay.
3 days ago. On our layover from New York City.
Oh, well, you went. So, yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if you put First Aid Kit and Tegan and Sarah together, that kind of is, in my opinion, a good little mashup of what you guys would sound up. Is that pretty close?
Well,
I mean,
it's so
or somewhat?
funny because I've not really listened to either of those bands. I mean, I am totally aware of who they are. But, yeah, I think a lot of people say a First Aid Kit, and I can totally see the resemblance. But, yeah, I've never actually listened to them.
Yeah, they're actually not together anymore either, I think. They only
really? They don't play? Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, we'll have to make a mixtape and send it to you with some Tegan and Sarah and First Aid Kit. But have you heard anybody else say that you sound like that, or is there any other bands that people have said, oh, yeah, you sound like so-and-so?
A couple of people have said Feist to us, but again, I've also never listened to Feist, and I know for a fact that Liv hasn't either. So there you go.
All right. So, like you've been talking, again, you pretty much hit up on this, but I was going to ask you about your tour. Like, it's been such a long time. Is this the longest tour you guys ever been to together?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like continuous?
I mean, yeah, if you count from March, it is. But it's saying that we did travel about 3 years ago. We went and kind of just decided that we'd do it all on our own, and we went to North America and Europe, and we just traveled around for 5 months. And we didn't really play any shows or anything. We just, like, met people and talked about music and hung out. But I feel like traveling was kind of preparation for the last 2 years of touring.
Right. So, like you mentioned, playing festivals and stuff. I know you guys played, some big ones, like the one in I think it's in Spain. I forgot the name of it.
Primavera.
Yeah, Primavera. Thank you. Yeah. So there were so many big bands there. Animal Collective and Radiohead, and so just quickly on, did you have any favorites of that? Did you get to see any of the bands play?
Yeah, we saw Radiohead. I'm trying to think of. I'm gonna get this wrong now. They're like a girl band. They're kind of like metal, but not real, but not fully. Savages.
Oh yeah. They're pretty popular down here.
Yeah. So we saw Savages, and I'm not I can't say that I listen to that kind of music much or know much about the scene, but they were just they had so much conviction. They just rocked. They just rocked the place. It was awesome.
Cool. Yeah, well, I haven't got a chance to see them yet, but would love to. So I think they're starting a tour in the UK here coming up.
It's totally worth it. I mean, it's so intense, but that's what I like about watching live shows,
Right. So doing your traveling, you got to, since you've been traveling a lot, got to see anything cool? Is there anything in particular that you liked seeing the most, or you're looking forward to seeing you haven't seen yet?
Oh man.
I don't know, like Eiffel Tower, or I don't know, eating food from New York City, or
Well, I mean, there's always the food aspect. I've got to admit, like we like pretty much everywhere we go, we like Yelp is our favorite app at the moment, and we'll like search it out or like see, figure out what the local specialties are, and kind of just chase that
right.
for over dinner time or lunch. But I don't know.
If you're a chocolate fan in London, there's this cool place called Dark Sugars. So you should check that place out. It's a cocoa house, so they make like hot cocoa, and like it's all natural. Like not natural, obviously it's natural, but it's like all they make it all right there from cocoa beans and everything else. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, great. Well, I just written it down because Liv is a huge chocolate fan.
Yeah, and there's truffles galore and everything else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Okay.
So one more question before we take a quick break, and then the last ones will be a little more just personal, I guess. Not personal, but just more you specific. But so there's been tons of great bands coming out of Australia the last few years. Of course, Tame Impala is one of the huge ones, and you had bands like Courtney Barnett, or it's not really bands, artists, but the Rubens, and actually I just talked to an artist. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name's Didi Dumbo. It's actually
I totally have.
His name's Oliver, actually, really, but yeah, he's
he actually. I'm pretty sure he grew up.
Melbourne.
I think he's originally from Castlemaine.
Yes, that's it. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And I grew up about 20 minutes from there.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
It's you just never know. I don't know him, but I know his music. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, his album just came out. It's good. It's
a
different type of music, but I really like it. But yeah, so with that said, of course, you two are also from Australia, another cool band out there. But is there anything that you maybe being back there that you've seen somebody that you think, oh man, these guys are gonna be pretty good coming out of Australia? Anybody you can recommend to the listeners at all, besides yourselves, of course?
There are so many great bands in Melbourne. I think, I guess off the top of my head, have to recommend a band called Big Smoke.
Okay.
And we've been following them for years. And their album is going to come out real soon. I think their single just came out. And yeah, like they've become bigger and bigger. But I remember, just like following them around and live for even longer than I have. So they're definitely worth seeing. And then a friend of ours, if you want some really great singer-songwriter folk music, I would recommend Rowena Wise. And her album just came out, actually, like a couple of weeks ago, and it's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
You should get on be the spokesperson for those guys.
Yeah, anytime.
Get a little kickback. All right, we're going to take another quick break real quick, and then we're going to finish up this last few questions. Your choice. What song you want to put on from your album?
Oh, I would say put on Tea, Milk and Honey.
Okay, sounds good. Tea, Milk and Honey. All right, we will do that right now. Let me get it lined up here. Okay, so this is OH PEP from the new album Stadium Cake, Tea, Milk and Honey. This is No Alternative Radio, and we'll be right back.
Take time, take all the time you need. Take time or you won't succeed. Worry about your health sometimes. Take time, take all the time you need. Take time or you won't succeed. I take time and I worry about your health sometimes. Don't ever run when you can't walk. Heard you were yelling before you could talk. Thinking twice will lead you into a bad place. You gotta move fast to win. No space for time, no time for space. I ain't got what the human race need, no. I won't contribute to your polluted transaction. I've got places to be that ain't right here. If you stick with me, I'll make sure your time is alright. If you don't understand where I am now, it's better if we leave it. Oh wow, why don't you just walk to the hill with everyone we're going now? Why don't you come? I've been thinking about it, I've been worrying about it. Don't you get it? I've been fretting. I talk about it with my best friend. She says it's your loss, you don't know what you got. I know that you do, and that's what scares you. Why don't you forget about it? Go on somehow, we won't ever talk about it no more. Don't you get it? I've been fretting. I talk about it with my best friend. And my baby talks in a mile a minute. She sings like a church with a choir in it. She shoots for the moon to land on the stars, and wakes up heavy with a sunken heart. Well, thinking twice will lead you into a bad place. You gotta move fast to win. No space for time, no time for space. I ain't got what the human race needs. My baby runs 10 miles to win it. She moves like her body's got a fire in it. She makes me swoon when she walks in the room. She wakes up early and she leaves too soon. My baby talks at a mile a minute. She sings like a church with a choir in it. She shoots for the moon to land on the stars, and wakes up heavy with a sunken heart. She don't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. She won't read the news on the TV. Team looking and you never satisfy me. Just breathe, no need to leave. I swear it was all in the plan. If you don't understand where I am now, it's better if we leave it.
No Alternative Radio plays music from indie to pop to synth-pop and everything in between.
Okay, we are back with half of OPEP, not Live, but rather, ta-da, Pep. Do you go by Pep, or is that sort of like because your guys' name, or is it just sort of play on your guys' names? Or do people actually call you Pep?
Well, they do now. It's I used to always go by Peppy, and I think Liv started calling me Pep. Like maybe even before we decided on the band name, but even though the band name is our initials mixed up, yeah, I'm pretty much. I guess I call myself Pep now. That's embarrassing.
It's all right. It could be a lot worse things to be called.
I'll answer to it. That's for sure.
Like I said, there could be a lot worse things people could call you, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, totally.
So, in regard to your shows, or what can people expect from your guys' shows? Is it laid back? Is it sort of like a party atmosphere? Or does it really truly depend on different venues and how big it is? And is it family friendly too? So if people want to bring their
totally
older kids or older kids,
I hope that we're family friendly.
Well, I know some venues are a little strict on ages, but that's nothing to do with you. But
No.
So what can they expect?
People can definitely expect. I feel like if you're listening closely, then it's definitely an emotional journey throughout all the songs that we're playing, which are pretty much songs from the album. And there's definitely, talking about contrast before, but there's definitely, your ups and downs, and we try to keep that on a, like, with our set list, we kind of try and tell some stories. With the ups and downs, you have your quiet songs and you have your build-ups and then your big songs and, hopefully your anthem, which I guess would be our Doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And then you do a couple encores, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. If people want them. No, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that we're intense like all the bands that I like watching when I go and see live music. And, I've got an awesome band with us at the moment, and our drummer's from Boston and our bass player is from Dublin. So
cool.
Seeing an international band, but they're awesome players. And
so basically you just come out to see you guys and you'll see how you guys are. How about that?
Yeah. How about I should just, I think I'll stop that for next time.
So what's the last album that you've bought? Or now are you now officially getting freebies now?
I don't know. I don't think I've reached that status. No, not really. We haven't. But, I mean, the album that I've just been listening to, I listened to it this morning, is St. Vincent.
Okay.
And I'm actually just trying to find the album.
Yeah, the latest one, I think it had like a Digital Witness.
No, it's just St. Vincent.
Yeah, one of those songs is called, I think it's called Digital Witness, the name of the album.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think.
The album is St. Vincent, too.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, that says it's 2013. But this is like kind of my first introduction to St. Vincent.
Yeah. I think that's the last album that she put out.
Oh, shit, really? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Just always like to ask people what they're listening to or the last one they bought, and it doesn't matter if it's the Bee Gees or Billy Ocean. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But
because people always discover stuff later on, and I mean, there's so much stuff out there.
Oh yeah, there's just so much music to be listening to.
Yes. All
the time. I sometimes get guilty about that actually, and then I end up not listening to anything because it's too confronting. But I've been listening to that album the past couple of days, and I find it like really striking for an album because it's like pop music, but it's just like so rhythmic, and I can definitely hear like the David Byrne influence. Yeah, and I freaking love him. So but also there's some like incredible guitar lines, and like the melodies are like super interesting, and there's like a lot of contrast in them. I don't know. Yeah. And I've been also watching some videos of her like live performance, and there's just like I find the movements that are done by the band super interesting, and that's so funny because we've just been thinking about bringing that into the show, or we're bringing it more into the show the past few months. So it's kind of like you're listening to all these things, and so trying to study
definitely
on what could be good things to do in your own way, But
definitely. So do you in particular have any hobbies other than obviously music is taking up a lot of your time, but like in your days off, or anything you enjoy doing, whether it's going skiing or crocheting?
I don't crochet or ski, but I love riding like bicycles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard you got like a pink one or a couple pink ones.
Yeah, I've got a pink one, I've got a green one, I've got a grey one. These are all in Melbourne, but yeah, I've been considering bringing a folding bike on tour, which I also own.
What's cool, a lot of the cities too that you guys play, especially in Europe and England, you know, they can rent the bikes too all around. So
yeah,
like Paris and London, you can do that.
So easy here too.
Yeah.
And then what else do I like? Oh, I like drawing, obviously. Any kind of artsy things, and.
So you're one of those colors, you know, like those adult color books they have now. It kind of looks like your album cover.
Well, yeah, we're actually, you know, we even considered making a colouring in book at one stage, but not colouring in, just like drawing little things like here and there on whatever's available, and like slowly trying to build up a collection of, you know, a nice sketchbook.
Yeah,
that's a name.
So do you have? I try to ask everybody this. Do you have favorite 3 albums that you can think of? Like a soundtrack that doesn't count. It can't be like a compilation or a mixtape but you know, like, you know, full album from an artist from front to back that you're like, yes, I love this album. And, you know, it could be anything. What 3 would you go with? Okay, so I would go with Post, and Post is an album by Paul Kelly. Okay. Who is like, if you don't know him, he's like the Bruce Springsteen / Bob Dylan of Australia. Okay. And this album is probably the first album I owned, apart from the Shrek soundtrack, which is also very good. But yeah, I remember I got it from my auntie for Christmas, and like I just still know like all the songs, like every lyric, and sometimes it just like flicks on in the car while we're listening to stuff, and I'm like, wow, I forget how much I love this album and how like ingrained it is in my brain, probably from like 1,000 listens either in the car when I was little or, you know, on the CD player. One from recently is Sound and Colour by Alabama Shakes. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and it's produced by Blake Mills, who really like all the things that he does, and those guys are like just an incredible band. Like, I've never seen them live, but like they're on my wish list. They're just so from every video I can like feel how much energy is going on stage, you know, especially from Brittany Howard, the singer. She's amazing. Yeah. And then my last album is No Need to Argue by Cranberries. Cranberries, yep. Yeah, and that's a good one. Yeah, it's amazing. I also grew up on this album, and I think one of my favourite songs of all time is No Need to Argue, which is the last track on the album. And it's just like so beautiful. And I think like what really gets me about this album is it just feels so like personal, and it really gets you in the heart when you take it all in. And there's, you know, I guess I feel like there's a lot of emotional fuel in this album, which I love. They're actually back together, I heard too, so I think they're doing some tours. Great. So hopefully they can come somewhere near us and we could see them. Yeah, totally. Well, we're going to Ireland after the UK, so maybe we'll meet them there. Yeah, never know. Maybe you can buy them a Guinness. So if Dolores is listening, which I doubt, but if she is, they'll buy you a Guinness, okay? Oh, yeah. More than a couple. Do you have any suggestions, you know, for newer artists that might be listening? Because we play a lot of new emerging artists. This is what we kind of do is ones that haven't signed a deal yet, or ones that just got deals, and, you know, just trying to really make it. You have any suggestions for those people? You know, like, especially when times get tough, you know, which is pretty much every day. Well, you have to work really hard and know what you want, and I guess see past everything else that, you know, could hinder whatever you're doing. So just keep your eye on the prize is what you're saying, basically. Totally. And I think that the thing is, you just never know who's watching or who's listening, because once you put something out into the world, you know, it's true that it's there for everyone. So you just never know, and
other best piece of advice I could give is probably just be prepared, like always put on the best show that you can and do everything with conviction. And if you do anything with conviction, it's possible. Doesn't matter what it is. So, yeah.
Act like you've been there before, right?
Yeah, I guess that's part of it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much. And we'll be seeing you in the UK next week, and have a good weekend. And do you have any last shout-outs before you head off? Maybe where to buy your album, if they can buy a record. Do you guys have the vinyl, any limited edition ones or anything like that?
We have all the things. You can buy the album on the net or order it, or you can definitely get it at a show. But the most interesting thing that we have is we have crockery as our merch, and we have egg cups, which might do well in the UK. I'm not sure. I'm hoping. But they also can double as shot glasses if that suits you better.
Yeah.
And, that's a thing we do, so that's kind of fun.
Okay. So, basically, they can order it from your website, too, then, opep.com, right? Is that?
Or from our Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, okay. So it's just going to be the ohpep.bandcamp.com, correct?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, and they can order the album there, and then, of course, you can get it from all the normal, digital sites and Amazon and all that good stuff, I'm sure. And don't hesitate. It's a good album. It's definitely worth the few pounds of some new music to listen to, or dollars, or wherever you're at listening to this. Cool. Well, thank you very much, and again, have a good rest of your trip and have fun in Ireland. And thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and we're going to end it off with the last track on your album. We're going to play Afterwards, just to wrap up everything here. All right.
All right.
Sounds great. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
We go for coffee, now we're friends. Not long ago, we were lovers. We keep it light, the time is tight. We keep the topic set on others, until I ask about your new fling. You don't tell me anything. You ask me back, I change the track. My newfound tact is a work in progress. No time is wasted when you're waking up slowly. I can't place it, but I've tasted being lonely with you gently on my mind. Only afterwards. It's good where we are, it's a nice distance apart for observation. If you rewind time, you will find the many signs that led to the situation. People grow, and sometimes at different paces. I didn't think so, but look at how big that space is between us. No time is wasted when you're waking up slowly. I can't place it, but I've tasted being lonely with you gently on my mind. Only afterwards. No time is wasted when you're waking up slowly. I
check.
New music now. No Alternative Radio.
Check out the No Alternative Radio Facebook page or online at noalternativeradio.com to stream or download shows.
Wherever and however, thanks for listening to No Alternative Radio. Get the free app from the Google Play Store to listen on the go for free.
No Alternative Radio.